Hey guys, we're back with the house in Fata Morgana, a Requiem for Innocence. When we last left off, there's a time skip of 2.5 years, I think. Which, honestly, I'm a bit disappointed in. I was hoping we'd get to see a bit of like Morgana's like character growth, like transition from, you know, the saint to how we saw her in the flashback, I guess. But I get why they didn't. Just, you know, still. That's like what I was hoping to see the most, since I have no idea what's gonna happen after this, really. 2.5 years forward. Like, I can read cursive. So, this is the graveyard. I remember the flashback, Jacopo's flashback started here. This is a new song. How many new songs are there? Yep, let's get started. There she is. An early summer breeze blew past, rustling vivid green leaves. With all the pleasantly warm wind at my back, I entered a graveyard. Anyone who wasn't from around here would probably have thought it nothing more than a curious arrangement of stones on an abandoned plot of land, though. No one knew the names of most of those buried here. They'd probably died without anyone by their sides. In death, though, they finally found themselves with someone to give them attention, to show them love. Love in the form of a prayer, for the repose of their souls. On this abandoned plot of land knelt its de facto caretaker. It's de facto, right? There's not like some fancy pronunciation for it. Hope so. A young girl and the only person who paid the dead who lay here any mind. She's too deep in prayer. Guess I'll have to wait. It had been a little under 2.5 years since I rescued Morgana from the Lord's Manor. Much to my chagrin, she was still far from anything that could be described as opening up. But she wasn't quite as distant as before, from my perspective at least. She stopped calling the girls at the brothel vile and impure. She was even somewhat conversational. Sometimes. It seemed to me her trauma had loosened its grip on her, if only a little. Of course, she had a tendency to be a bit on the brutally blunt side, which became more obvious as she started talking more. It felt like the brutal part was getting more prominent every day. Though I supposed it was a good sign. Hold on, moving my mic this way. I don't know if you can hear me clicking, so I try to like keep my mic away from my mouse, because that can be annoying. Better than her refusing to interact at all, at least. Probably. Wait, I can scroll to advance the— oh my! I've solved everything. She had also, most notably, began showing a sense of independence. Burying and sending off the dead who had no family or loved ones to do it for them was one such activity she had taken on. Living in the slums, it was hardly uncommon to see corpses abandoned in alleyways or on the side of the road. Generally speaking, they'd be tossed off into a ditch somewhere, out of the way to rot. But over the past couple years, that had stopped happening, because Morgana had taken it on herself to give them proper burials in a gravestone. Nothing fancy, just a plain slab of rock to mark the grave, but it certainly seemed much more respectable than the alternative. Every day, she came out to the graveyard to pray for the departed. She'd always seemed a bit abnormally pious, right? I think it's pious. But there was something almost frightening about her dedication to the task. Like, it's piety, right? Piety? So pious? I don't know. She was only 9 years old at the time of the slave revolt, which made her 11 now. Oh, really? She's not— okay, that's creepy. Jacopo, that's pretty creepy. I was thinking about it, like, what's the youngest she could be in and want to be creepy? I came to the conclusion that after the time skip, like, 15 would be, like, still kind of creepy, but, like, but 11? You serious? Rather than play with other children her age, she collected abandoned corpses in the slums and brought them here to bury and pray for. Abnormal didn't even begin to describe it. Some time ago I asked her, why didn't you go out and play like the other children? To which she calmly responded, I cannot possibly waste my time idly engaging in worldly recreation. I knew that God was the most important figure in her life, but it still seemed excessive. Not even a convent was that draconian. Made numerous attempts to warm her up, but they all fell flat. Nothing I said seemed to make it through the heavy wall she had built around herself. Now saw Morgana acted around me and the girls at the brothel, those closest to her. The rest of the town could hardly get within shouting distance before being shut out. Although it wasn't like they tried either. Most everyone else actively distanced themselves from her. At some level, they appreciated her taking care of the bodies that showed up, but ultimately, to them she was little more than a spider that captured more dangerous insects begrudgingly left to its own devices. Hardly anyone found her pleasant. They didn't hide it either. Not just because of her choice in hobbies. The biggest factor was, of course, may your soul find eternal peace. The disquieting marks covering her face. You all done? I didn't realize you were there. Been here for a while now. You should really pay more attention to your surroundings. This isn't exactly the safest area. Why bother? No one is going to do anything to me. Maybe not now, but a few years down the line, that's a whole nother story. You should get in the habit early. You're a growing girl. Your face could very well be better by then, too. Never mind the fact that there are people out there who will take anything as long as it's got girl parts. What if one of them decides to target you? Appalling. Aren't they? Which is why you should be a little more careful. You are an appalling man. Yeah, I saw that coming. Why am I appalling? Because the thought crossed your mind. It did not. I'm just saying there are people out there who think like that. You need to look out for yourself. The fact that you'd say that at all is appalling. Just looking out for you. Oh Lord, may this sinful man be cast down to hell where he belongs. Jeez, you don't know mercy, do you? You're lucky you treat those corpses nicer than you do me. You'd be correct. You want me to be nice to you? Go die! The kill's got no mercy. Anyway, if you're done praying, get over here. It's ointment time. How many times must I tell you? You're wasting your time. Don't be such a pessimist. Your arm wasn't built in a day. There's still other ointments we haven't tried. I'm not being pessimistic, I just... Unless you want to stay looking like that, what do you have to lose? Now come on, off with the hood. You're a very stubborn man. Pot! Kettle! Call me whatever you want. Nothing you can say will bother me in the slightest. I loathe you. What? You're saying? Did I skip? Oh no, okay. You're saying? You're kidding, right? Partially. You little... Thought you were gonna apply the ointment. What are you waiting for? The characters in Fata Morgana have the best smiles. I sighed and gave her a little glower, right? Then scooped up some ointment with my fingers. Morgana angled her face towards the floor, closed her eyes, and waited for me to begin. Towards the floor? You mean the ground? Like, can you call the outside ground floor? Like, I don't think so. There's an element within the game that gave me flack for all the time I spent looking after and caring for Morgana. Well, it's mostly just grouting, actually. If I were you, would have tossed that ungrateful brat out on her butt years ago. Would be another story if she were a Loki, of course. But, and to a degree, I understood where he was coming from. I certainly would have appreciated a little gratitude. On the other hand, all the time I spent with her, even if it was largely being verbally abused, allowed me to notice the more subtle changes in her mannerisms. Seeing the growth, however small, was one of the things that motivated me to keep at it. For example, a year ago, whenever I wanted to make physical contact with her, I'd have to verbally reassure her I had no intention to do her any harm or she was likely to start shouting. Even if she didn't, she'd sit there the whole time I poured ointment, incredibly stiff. Now, she was more relaxed. You'd even sense a sort of trust emanating from within her as my fingers rubbed against her skin. It wasn't my imagination. At least, I didn't think it was. It was something only perceptible throughout the act of making direct physical contact. That said, she is still borderline inscrutable. As I massaged the ointment into her skin, just the outline of her face with the flat of my thumb. The vast majority of her face was discolored, and in places, patches had festered and fallen off. The skin at the corners of her lips was shriveled and curled up, which I could only imagine was fairly painful. It was rough and uneven, hardly a pleasant sensation, and a far cry from the clean, smooth skin most girls her age would have. Maybe she's right. You'd think it would show some sign of healing by now, if we're ever going to. Despite my constant insistence that she stay optimistic, it's probably me who was most disappointed, most frustrated at the complete lack of improvement. The ointment wasn't cheap, to be sure. I didn't give a dang about the money, pardon my French. It was the sense of hopelessness that got me, and it was all for nothing. Back when we first took her in, Maria had suggested the marks on Morgana's face might be a manifestation of something psychological or emotional. And I was beginning to think she was right. That wasn't going to stop me from trying, though. This is the only thing I could think of to do for her. I wonder, what will she look like when she's all healed? Maybe she'll smile for once. I'd like to see that someday. She just did! It was like a smug smile, but it counts. Hello? Is anyone in there? Huh? You need something? Oh, sorry, I got lost in my thoughts. Didn't realize I'd stopped. Lost in your thoughts? That sounds absolutely dreadful. What's that supposed to mean? It's just thinking about what? Never mind. Finishing that's just begging for another round of derision. It's not why I wanted to get your attention either way. Huh? What happened there? Where? Your arm. It's cut. Morgana pointed to a gash peeking out from beneath my sleeve. While it wasn't a very deep wound, it was hardly a mere scratch either. Oh yeah, that's you know. I decidedly do not know. It's not important. Don't worry about it. Use that on yourself. Huh? The ointment. Stop wasting it on my face, which is never going to heal, and use it on yourself. No need to get so worked up about it, Morgana. I'm not worked up. I'm simply expressing my discontent and your foolishness. Which I'm pretty sure is the definition of being worked up. Regardless, don't use any more ointment on me. Use it on yourself. Sure, it'll appreciate actually being useful for once. Last I checked, medicine doesn't have healings. Really, it's not that bad. Besides, I'm only gonna get more, so what's the difference? You're going to get more? What are you doing that would make you say that? Yeah, I'm too sinful to admit? You're abhorrent, man. No, I swear, it's nothing bad. You win, I'll tell you. Shh, it's hoping to keep it a secret. I'm, doing a little training. Training? Yeah, crime and unrest has been on the rise in the slums. Or, well, not just the slums, the city proper, too. Things were quiet for a while after the slave revolt, and the Lord suddenly imposed a major tax increase about 6 months ago, which has resulted in a significant number of people unable to afford living in the city. To put it simply, the Iron Fist is squeezing even tighter than ever. As a result, it's been a huge influx of people into the slums. You know how tight things are already, don't you? What is supposed to happen when you have limited resources and space, suddenly twice as many people vying for their share. People have started trying to stake out their territory. They're fighting hard to defend it. I can talk. People are mugging and robbing each other over scraps. It's a mess. I had no idea. Not many thieves pick makeshift graveyards as their marks, after all. Though in this case, the actual thing you being so isolated is probably to your benefit. But in any event, me and the rest of the gang have formed a band of peacekeepers of sorts. Peacekeepers? Is that not the city guard's job? The guards have never given a dang about the slums. Why waste manpower on people who can't even pay their taxes? As far as the Lord and his men are concerned, we're just leeching off his land. We're dang lucky he doesn't make an active effort to chase us all out. That means it's our responsibility to protect ourselves. I see. Start training to use a sword. It's part of this band of peacekeepers. In short, yeah. Interesting. Interesting? In what way? Give me the ointment. Boys, what's up? That's 3 different messages. Huh? I'm not done with your... What's even left? You've done more than enough. Hold on. Let me reply to that so it shuts up. Reading Fata Morgana, and it's all in caps lock. Whoops. You've done more than enough. Now give it to me. Here. Roll up your sleeve. You're not gonna put it on me, are you? Like I said, I don't need... How many times have I told you the exact same thing? How many times have you listened to me? This is payback for all the times you refused to listen to me. Can't argue with that, can you? No, I guess I can't. What are you smirking about? Nothing. Try to keep this sort of thing to a minimum, if you would. Huh? Well, I want to limit my training time. Need to be prepared for whatever might come out our way. That man of a lord could be scheming to send his soldiers in as we speak. I'm sure there are others more suited for the job. You don't seem like you would be especially adept with a blade. Hey, Don't judge my skill by my appearance. I had a 6 sword fight 2.5 years ago. Love you know, I'm the second strongest member of the gang. Shut up. How do I mute Discord? Volume mixer. Discord. There. No, don't bring it up. Bring it down. Okay. I'm the second strongest member of the gang. I guess it's fair you're sharing. You're on fire today, huh? Since you seem to have forgotten. Put up a dang decent fight against the Lord during the... What the heck is wrong with me? Why am I digging up some of her most painful memories for a cheap brag? Anyway, you get the idea. Pretty good with the sword, so you don't need to worry about me. I see. Out of curiosity, who's the strongest member? Excuse me? Why won't you ask me to my face to give her the name of the one man stronger than me? It's not a difficult question. Some guy named Gradian. Interesting. Well, I hope he remains number 1. You stay number 2 forever. And why exactly would you want that? The whole reason I'm training so hard is so I can suppress Gradian. She wants me to stay below him? I still have no idea how to say his name. I hope I'm saying it right. Like, is it Gratian? Like, is it like one of those T's? I don't know. Unbelievable. I get it. It's easier for you to look down on me if there's someone who can put me in my place for you. That isn't why. No? Well then, mind telling me why? The strongest member of a group is the one who stands at the front lines. What's your point? The most qualified person hits the charge, yes. Don't see anything wrong with that. Puts them at a greater risk. What are you? Are you concerned for my safety? It's not you I'm concerned about. Your death will simply make life more difficult for the girls at the brothel. Oh, I skipped a line. Oh, look at that! You! Worried about me! Guess even you have a soft spot or two. Well, for heaven's sake. I already told you, that's not why I'm all done. Thanks. Now, I assume you're finished with your business here, so feel free to make yourself scarce. I don't need to be so rude. But you have some ulterior motive for wanting me gone. For one, it's impossible for the dead to rest in peace with you around. Maybe try thinking about the living first, for once. Never really cared for how much importance people put on showing respect for the dead. It all seems so pointless to me. Your blasphemy knows no ends, does it? When your time comes, you're gonna find yourself with no one to grieve over your loss. No, I'm just thinking about, like, how does Morgana not just have, like, a million diseases? Like, she's gotta be, like, lugging these dead bodies around to this graveyard, right? All alone, like, she's 11. Like, even if she wrapped each one in, like, a sheet or something, like, still, you'd probably, like, you'd end up getting sick eventually. Is it just because Morgana's god powers, or I don't know. Or maybe they just were like, oh yeah, dead bodies? Those don't have diseases. Anyway, when your time comes, you're gonna find yourself with no one to grieve over your loss. Fine with me. People are only worth their salt while they're alive. What about the afterlife? Let's get time to think about the next life when you live in an overcrowded slum where someone might kill you one day for a couple coins. All the more reason to take that into consideration. The consequences one's actions in life have on the next should serve to encourage us to always do what is right. This has a bit of a, I guess, subtext regarding the final door. Like, I think Jacopo did, and Yukimasu were like, who cares what happens to the next life? Not sure I buy that. I'm done with this conversation. I don't think there's any getting through that thick skull of yours. Is subtext the right word for that? You get what I mean either way. If I offended you, I apologize. I didn't mean to. Say, Morgana, would you mind humming that song you're so fond of for me? What? Where did that come from? I'm in a good mood today. What better way to improve a good day with good music? I did not follow that line of reasoning one bit. Why should I have to sing to make you feel better? What's the big deal? Doesn't hurt anyone. If you ever even have a heart, I'll do this tiny little favor for me. Yes, because trying to manipulate me is a wonderful way to make me feel like wanting to do anything for you. Okay, I'm sorry. That was mean of me. please? That doesn't sound very sincere. But fine, I'll do it. Facing away from me, Morgana dropped to the grassy ground, staring off in the distance, beginning to hum. Like, what? Like, I'm not doing. I don't know what beat is to. Was it a hymn or a requiem for the dead? But a folk song the girls of the brothel would sometimes sing. No one seemed to know who had written it, though. The lyrics were slightly vulgar, and the people were supposed to clap and hoot along with the music. Morgana only hummed the melody, leaving the rest of that out. In isolation, sung with her voice, became a thing of beauty. It was pure, untainted by the filthiness of the slums, unobscured by the crudeness of the people who normally sang it. In many ways, it was hard to believe they were the same song. It felt like it was hers, like it existed solely to be heard in her voice. Listening to her sing, I sprawled out on the grass. The blue sky spread out above me as far as the eye could see. As I gazed up into it, all my problems seemed to fade away. That I lived in a dirty slum, that the Lord is digging his claws even deeper into the city, and I was in the middle of a makeshift graveyard for those who had no one else. It all just disappeared. I felt almost as though I had ascended to heaven. First time I heard Morgana sing was, if memory served, approximately a year earlier. At the time, she was still completely walled off, much like she had been when I first brought her to the slums. She always kept her eyes on her feet. She spoke in a soft voice, frequently pausing. She was wary of everyone, including me. One day, I went to put ointment on her face. She shouted, roared practically, for me not to touch her. To be honest, it was somewhat aggravating. Another asked her about her father. She just pointed up at the sky, saying, he's up there. She took to mean he was dead, so I dropped the subject and got back to applying ointment to her. At some point, I started humming the song, which I had picked up from the girls. And upon hearing that, she told me she was quite fond of it. And then she began singing. Immediately, I found myself entranced by her voice. Though she always spoke in soft, muffled tones, her singing voice was incredibly clear. Like I was listening to a chorus of angels. Wait, choir of angels. Wait, not chorus. Right? It's choir. That's how you spell choir, right? I think so. Of course, the moment I put that into words, it'll lose all of its potency. I'll just turn into some loser's cheap pickup line. It'll just. Really is something, though. She told me her voice could raise the dead. I'd be inclined to believe it. Just that beautiful. While true Morgana could be difficult and wasn't the most affable, I knew that at heart, she was a sensitive and compassionate girl. That she would come to this graveyard every day and pray for peace for all the forgotten souls was more than enough proof of that. Though she surrounded herself with high walls, she was probably the kindest, most loving person I knew. And that was what drew me to her. It didn't matter what anyone said about her, how quick they were to judge her as ugly or standoffish. I knew they were all young. It'd be wonderful if I could just spend the rest of my days listening to her sing. Are you asleep? I'm awake. Just resting my eyes. Oh. That's about to accuse you of being bored for having the audacity to ask me to sing and then fall asleep. The fact that you almost seem upset seems to suggest you want to be heard, despite how much you protested. No, I get the perfect idea. We can build a makeshift stage at the pub and have you sing for everyone. What? Don't worry, I'll be fine. You can wear a mask if you don't want anyone to see your face. You don't even have to get on stage if you'd rather not. You can just sing from behind a curtain. Who knows, you could end up being a big hit. Come on, come all. Come on, come all. Yeah, the soothing song of the So it's enigmatic siren. That one always gets me. Absolutely not. No, I think it's a pretty good idea myself. Oh, is this because you don't like taking other people's money? I wasn't planning on charging. Just thought it would be nice if more people could hear. As I already said, absolutely not. If you push the issue any further, I'll never sing for you again. Noted. Forget I said anything. Seems like a good opportunity to get her interacting with more people, but I guess not. Such a pretty voice is wasted on just me. What? Look like you have something else to say. Nope, not a thing. I'm not gonna force her if she's opposed to it. Say Morgana, something I've been wondering for a while now. Huh? You've never actually called me by my name, have you? Where did that come from? Just been thinking about it. I can't recall a single time you've done it in more than the 2 years we've known each other. She can't remember what it is. Don't tell me you forgot my name. Oh, she doesn't know how to pronounce it. Like, is it Jacopo, Jacopo, Jacopo? Like, you know? I think it's actually pronounced like an H, but I say it like a Y. But at this point, like, I'm too far gone to change the pronunciation. Oh, don't tell me you forgot my name. Are you kidding me? I remember it, yes. I don't like to add emphasis on remember. Is it really that big of a deal? Is really anyone else around? So it's not like you don't know when I'm talking to you. Besides, I'm planning to leave when I get older. So I don't see much point in getting very attached to anyone. Do you have a destination in mind? Not yet. Why are you thinking so far ahead then? You're 11 years old. You still got a few years before you're old enough to be independent. You're going to spend that whole time keeping everyone at arm's length? I just think, maybe it's about time you took down some of those walls. Might take a little weight off your shoulders in the process. Not gonna say you have to, though. Anyway, I should head out. Got work to do. Try not to stay out here too late, okay? I'll be leaving as soon as you're gone. I can walk you back then. I can make you back fine on my own, thank you. As you wish. Hey, Morgana? I thought you were leaving? One day, I'll show you the world. Okay, Aladdin. That's an Aladdin song, right? Do you ever get tired of saying that? You gotta think big. Dream. The world's changing all around us. Life just fighting to make it day by day is hardly a life at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my days confined to this tiny little corner of the world. Well, try not to let your dreams go so big they crush you. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll just have you sing for me if it ever gets to be overwhelming. Why would I be there? Why wouldn't you? So I just show you the world if I don't bring you with me. Knowing you still won't know where you want to go. So I'll bring you with me. We can find a place for you together. Pretty good deal, huh? I don't need to see the world. All I want is... Huh? What was that? Nothing. Now I'm even more curious. It's nothing, really. Now go on, shoo. Fine. What was that? See you later. Change scenes there. We're on The Girls. Should I... Yeah, I'll call it there. 27 minutes is okay. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys next time with some more of the House of Fata Morgana. Thanks for watching. Oh, you're actually for Innocence. Can't forget that part. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.